Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and let's get into this book haul. Alright guys, I've put off filming this because of how nasally I sound. I apologize. I steam showered with Vicks. I took allergy medicine. I took Dayquil. I took everything. And I still sound the same. So, bear with me. I apologize. I went ahead and went to Barnes & Noble and I went crazy. Yeah, I went crazy. I got every book I thought I ever wanted. And I even got my book of the month. And because it was my birthday, they also, in fact, gave me extra books. So let's get started. Let's talk about those book of the months. Let's get them out of the way. So the first one, this is the one that I actually picked for the month of February. And this one is called The Bones Beneath My Skin by T.J. Klune. He does do fantasy, is what they like to call cozy fantasy. This book basically is about a guy who lost his parents. His brother and him do not get along, so he decides, like, let me hit the reset button. He lives in Washington, D.C. Let me go back to my family's cottage and just kind of, you know, hit the reset button. And when he arrives, the cottage should be empty, but it's a guy named Alex there with his daughter. And she has like these special magical powers. So he basically has to decide, is he going to like live in the past, everything that's going wrong with him that seems superficial, or is he going to be present with these people and help them deal with this massive issue where the girl does have powers and he potentially has the ability to have this like amazing life, but there are also outside forces that are trying to get the girl. So he's stuck between like stepping away and being like, hey, this ain't my battle to fight, or actually stepping in, helping them, and being a part of something greater. So it sounded interesting. They say that he writes beautifully. I do have another book by him called In the Life of Puppets, and I kind of wanted to see how he is as a writer. I figured this would be another good way to delve into that. And then, like I said, because of my birthday, Book of the Month gave me the option to pick any book in their catalog that I wanted additionally for free. And I chose Emily Henry, People We Meet on Vacation. It's one of her books that not a ton of people talk about or wildly rave about. You hear people mainly rave about Happy Place and Beach Read and Funny Story, and you may hear a couple of people mention this one, but not so much. So I wanted to give it a whirl for myself. So People We Meet on Vacation is basically about two best friends. They kind of grew up together. Every year they go on vacation together. One lives, I think, in like New York, and the other one lives in like the small town that they grew up in. And then one year they go on vacation together and something happens that basically changes everything. I can't tell if it's romantic or if it's something else. And so from there on, they're not seeing each other. They're not talking the way that they are. So the girl best friend starts like really kind of thinking about like why she's so unhappy in life and what has changed for her. And she realizes it's having her best friend in her life. So she hits him up and she's like, hey, let's go on one last vacation. Let's put everything out on the table. Let's see if we can either fix our friendship or if we just need to keep it moving. So that's what they do. But they're like polar opposites. And it's People We Meet on Vacation. So it should be interesting. I've read two books by Emily Henry and they were good. One was like almost a 5-star for me. So we shall see. And then I wanted to get this book by Natasha Bishop. It's called Only for the Week. You may have seen it on TikTok everywhere. I wanted the original cover and I did source it, but I also wanted to support this author by going in Barnes and Noble, because it is so hard to find, like, it is so hard to find certain genres of Black literature in Barnes and Noble. So whenever it's in there, I like to go in there and buy it. So it's like, hey, yeah, we want that in store, thanks. So this is only for the week. Basically, this is about a girl who is going to her sister's destination wedding in Tulum. The catch is her sister is marrying her ex. She could care less, but everyone seems to think that she is so worried. They're like tiptoeing around her, and it's annoying. So her ex's best friend, Rome, is like, you know what? We just need to hook up. So she's like, you know what, we just gonna do our thing, but only for this week, the week of the wedding, while we're in Tulum, we're gonna hook up. This is just physical, you know, and well, that's it. He, on the other hand, has always liked her, but always felt she was off limits because she was his friend's ex. But hey, my friend is now marrying your sister. We're fair game. So he's kind of like, I'm gonna take this week, but I'm starting to wonder if maybe we could be more. So it sounds like it's going to be funny. It sounds like it's going to be interesting. I can't wait to read this one. This copy, though, is the new cover, because the book was independently published, but now it is, what's the word I'm looking for? A big publisher. And it has like artwork in it. So that'll be interesting to see. Let's see. Yeah. Interesting to see. I am going to a book event later this year where I'm going to a couple this year. And I believe this author is actually going to be at one of them. And it'll be interesting to see if I bring my original copy. Not my original. If I bring the older copy, can I get her to sign the older copy? That's what will be interesting to see. But yeah, so only for the week, Natasha Bishop. All right, where do we want to go next? Let's keep going with the Black excellence, okay? So as I've said a couple of times in a couple of videos, I definitely want to get more into Black authors who write fantasy. Just to get a mix of everything. I mean, I read white authors who write romance and Black authors who write romance. So I want to read Black authors who write fantasy as well as white authors who write fantasy. Okay, so this is a book by Tigess Germa. It is called Immortal Dark. It's basically about a girl in a world where humans can draw strength by being with vampires, and her sister goes missing. She starts investigating and trying to look into the disappearance of her sisters. She uncovers like all these dark secrets and like this underworld with the vampires. I believe she's a vampire now. She may not be a vampire. I don't think she's a vampire, but yeah, I want to give this one a try. It has really good reviews, and if I'm not mistaken, I feel like she may be at one of the events I'm going to also. So yeah, that'll be interesting. This is another special edition. It has like letters, artwork, of course the sprayed edges. All right. And then we have this book by Lynn Painter. It's called Better Than the Movies. Now, I have not necessarily ever really been into Lynn Painter because she does write romance, but she writes like YA. Like, I believe all her characters are like in high school. So it really doesn't do it for me. Even though I know that she is an older woman, all of her books are high school. But people were saying that like it gives you that old school rom-com feeling, and that this particular book has a lot of like old rom-com references to it. Like you see like the guy with the radio over his head and all that other kind of stuff. So this book was $5. Barnes & Noble frequently does this thing where they'll just make a book $5. And if you buy anything from Starbucks, you'll get the book, or if you buy any other books, you get a book for $5. So since it was $5 and it was so pretty with the sprayed edges, I figured I would give it a try. I have another book by her also that's limited or sprayed edges, and it is this one here, The Do-Over. So I haven't read that one, haven't read this one. They're both Barnes & Noble exclusives. And then we have another banned book. Hear me out. Hear me out. I know you're like, what? What? It looks completely... Don't judge a book by its cover, even though that's literally how you pick your books. This is called The Perks of Being a Wallflower. This book is banned. It's on the banned book list. Basically, it's about this guy. What's his name again? Is it Charlie? Yeah, Charlie. Charlie, basically, this is like his diary. He's like an introvert. And he's a little off, he's a little weird, and basically you're just following him through life as he writes in his diary. I've heard that it's like deep, I've heard that it's dark, I've heard that it has some sensitive topics in it, and it is a pretty interesting read. It has like family drama, it has like him finding himself, it has all types of stuff in it. So I wanted to give it a whirl. And Barnes & Noble does have a section, usually, at least it does in all the ones that I go to, where it'll have like a table of like banned books. So if that's something that you're into, if you want to kind of see what the whole banned book movement is about, you can also do that. Right? And then next we have Indigo Ridge. This is a series of independent standalones involving a small town. So basically this book is about this girl whose grandfather is the mayor of a small town. She moves back to the town, becomes the sheriff. The town is like, of course, nepotism. And so she's like struggling to prove that she got the job because she qualifies and not because of who her grandfather is. But when she first comes to town, she has this one night stand with this random rugged country man, does not know that he is literally like town royalty and that he is the eldest brother of the Edens, like a founding family of the town. And her grandfather is like, oh, by the way, if you want to be accepted into this community, you need to get in good with the Edens. So she's like, well, that ship is sailed because I just slept with their oldest son. But basically, a murder happens. She has to investigate it. It leads her to have to work closely with the Edens. The guy that she slept with was like bad mouthing her all around town, saying that she's an outsider, and all this other kind of stuff. But then has to work closely with her when this murder happens, and that's when he starts to notice that maybe she isn't what he thought he was, and she's thinking that maybe he's not what she thought he was. So it is a romance novel. I went ahead and picked this bad boy up. It's been in my cart for a very, very long time. At one point, they were all on sale. The indie copies were all on sale because they were going to be traditionally published. The covers didn't change whatsoever, though. So I should have just freaking got the one. They were literally like $5 and $7 a pop. But anyway, so that's neither here nor there. I figured I would read the first one, see how I like it, and then decide then if I want to move into the series. And then Siobhan Latrice, the author of the Crenshaw King series, had an actual sale for signed copies of all the books, and then this would be the latest book, Save Room for Us. And I was going to be buying this book anyway, so why not go ahead and get the signed copy. It is beautiful, and it did come with stickers. I don't know what they mean yet because I haven't read the book, but I'm going to be reading it soon. Basically, this follows Asif. Asif is Prime's son. Prime is the father in Marriage Favor. It doesn't matter if you haven't read those books, but he is actually a kingpin and the new CEO of a historically black financial institution. So he's got a lot going on, and he's very much a grown man for his young age. And he has always kind of had like a thing for his sister-in-law's sister. And he's been watching her. Homegirl's been going through it. So she finally realizes, like, you know what? My man is just not it. And she decides to leave and is dealing with all these repercussions of it. And he steps in. That's the gist of what I know from the book. You are introduced to them completely separate throughout the standalones. You meet them. There are some other aspects to Asif's life that everybody's kind of been wanting to know about. He has a very estranged relationship with his mother, which was prominent in the first book, Marriage Favor. And it's just interesting to see Prime, who is technically just a stepfather to the other brothers, but his biological father, to see how much of his personality he inherits from Prime, because all of the other brothers, because Prime has raised them, they all have the core values that he instilled in them. But it'll be interesting to see what his actual son is like, because he's the one that's like taking over the family businesses and all that other kind of stuff. So yeah, guys, big Asif, not the little one. All right, and then I finally got Gothikana. Now, this book, I have been looking at it for a long time. It was in a hardcover with the purple sprayed edges, but I don't care for hardcovers. And then I also felt like I was only buying the book because it was pretty with this like dark cover and purple edges, and I didn't want to just be buying another pretty book. But then when I actually saw what the book was about, I was like, okay, I'm going to go get that book. And they actually had paperbacks, so I'm glad I waited. They had paperbacks, and the paperbacks still had the purple sprayed edges, so I didn't lose out. So basically this book is about this girl. She applies for this like prestigious school and gets accepted, so she's all excited. Imagine her shock when she gets there and finds out it's like a creepy, scary mansion on a deserted hill, and finds out that the school is known for like death and drama and secrets and all this other kind of stuff. There's a professor there who is like, who's shorty over there, but he's like, you know, I need to kind of stay away from her. Like, I need to be professional about it. But as she starts looking into like the secrets and everything that's going on with the school, he's like, let me keep an eye on her. And I think he begins to develop feelings for her. It is considered a dark romance, dark academia. And it looks like it's going to be a fun ride. I have heard very good things about this book. It gives very much Halloween, but I'm definitely going to read it before then. All right, guys. And then this is another book. If you saw my wrap up video, then you would have saw that I read My Sister the Serial Killer. So I literally bought this book all these books right towards the end of February, and with the day left in the month, I read this book. So this has already been read, but it is a part of this haul. So My Sister the Serial Killer is what I would consider like crime fiction or suspense. It's basically about a girl and her younger sister, and they are growing up in Lagos, Nigeria. And she is kind of like the protector of her sister. Her sister has killed 3 boyfriends at this point, and it's always like a reason why it happened. So she's like, is she a serial killer? You know, is she dangerous? And then the sister, the one that doesn't kill, is like secretly in love with this doctor that she works with. Her sister comes up to her job one day, and the doctor like falls all over his feet for her. Her sister is very pretty. And now she's worried because she's like, okay, because now my boo thing wants you. So how far am I going to go with protecting you and turning a blind eye to the fact that you're low-key a serial killer when now someone that you could potentially hurt is someone that I kind of care about. So you kind of navigate the situation with her. You kind of go through the crimes. You kind of go through everything with her in this. It is not graphic. It's kind of more light-hearted. It's not really horror or scary, or you could read it at night. Yeah, but it's a quick read. The chapters are quick. Yeah, I've been looking at this book for a while, so glad to have it on my shelf. And then, of course, again, another Black fantasy book. I believe this is considered YA. I don't know how YA it is, but it's Skin of the Sea. Basically, this is a book about a mermaid. She, her job, her whole reason for being is to gather the souls of people who had died at sea and to safely get them back home, right? That's all she's supposed to do. You die at sea, she's going to guide you to the light, okay? But while she's in the water, a young boy falls overboard. She's supposed to just let it go, right? But she can't. So she saves him. So as a result of her saving him, she's now pissed off the gods. So in order to avoid like the people around her getting the wrath of the gods, she goes to them to try to make amends and to try to see like what they can do about the fact that she broke the rule. But there's still the issue of the boy knowing more than what he needs to know. And yeah, so that is what this is about. It seemed pretty interesting to me, and I need more Black fantasy. Give me, matter of fact, if you know of some Black fantasy books, go ahead and comment them down below. Also, fantasy books in general that you like, go ahead and comment them. I'm kind of expanding that area, as well as I'm expanding thriller. So thriller recommendations, fantasy recommendations, and then basically any recommendations. I love a good recommendation. Like that's what I thrive off of, okay? So yeah, guys, I pretty much think that's it. That's all I got. And I have a Fairy Loot book that's coming. For some, Fairy Loot has been delayed because the Chestnut Springs special editions started shipping out, and I think it kind of put them back. But normally I would have already had my Fairy Loot, but I don't. So this is the second haul. Everything that I got, and I am excited to put all this up on my shelf and get it out of the way. But all right, guys, thank you for sitting here listening to me and all my nasaliness. And hopefully the next time I see you, I will not be sounding like this. But as always, love you, mean it, bye. That's how we fall out.